Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video we're learning how to make this beautiful Ankara short. Though I'm here to hem, but the outcome is good. So this short, it has an elastic waist and it's also a baggy Ankara short. So if you like to learn how to make this, then do also continue watching, and also do not forget to like, subscribe, and also drop a beautiful comment. So let's get started. So for this short, we'll be needing about a yard of Ankara fabric, and I'll say if you're on the plus size, you'll be needing about 1.5 yard of fabric. And other sewing tools that are important that we'll be needing will be your elastic, and for the width you'll be working with 1 of 2 inches, and then you need your safety pin, razor blade, and then you also need a rope for the shorts. So these and all your other basic sewing tools, so these are what you'll be needing. So from here we're now going to proceed to the front of this shirt. So I'm gonna here to have my fabric unfold for the front first. So for the width, how I got my width for this part was that I divided my hip round by 4 and I added extra 5 inches. So I added 5 inches because I wanted it to be full enough, but you could also do 4 inches or 3. It depends on how full you want yours to be, and if you do not want yours to be more full, you could also actually go ahead to add just 3 to 2 inches to that. And I'll go ahead to mark out my vertical measurement. So if you notice, while marking out my vertical measurement, my tape is starting from away from 2 inches, and the first line that I'm going ahead to mark out is my cross line, which I've already gone ahead to mark out. So you want to go ahead to mark out your cross line with your tape away from 2 inches because of our band. So for the cross line, because it's a free shot, I would advise you add about 1.5 inches to it so that it can be free and it's not like our fitted trouser. So after the cross line, the next thing, still marking off from 2 inches, you want to go ahead to mark out is your short length. And after marking out my short length, from down the last line there, I had about 2 inches left, and the reason for these 2 inches is because of the hemming allowance that we are going to have. So it will just want to go ahead to serve for our hemming allowance. So moving on now, so we just want to go ahead now to so we just want to go ahead to mark out 2.5 inches on the cross line. Also go ahead to mark out 2.5 inches on the waistline and connect with our straight filler. So this 2.5 inches is not going to be same for all measurements. So how you're going to get it is that you're going to divide your hip round by 20, and whatever you have, you want to go ahead to mark it out. And you might also want to go ahead to add about 1 inches to whatever you have, since it's a free short, so that it can be free on you also. So the next thing I just want to do now is that from this part of my waist measure, I want to go ahead to come in by 1 inches, but I decided to come in by 1.5 inch, and from there I want to also go ahead to mark out my hip line, and do not forget 2 inches off when marking your hip line. So after this now, I just want to go ahead to use my pattern ruler to connect it, and this part I'll say it might not be necessary for you, but the reason why I did this is because I wanted fitting for my short, and I also advise you should also do that. So you just, after connecting that like that, just go ahead to connect with your pattern ruler just as I have done here. So that is that for that part, and the next thing we might want to do now is our crotch curving. So I first had a thought to just use my hand to draw it, but then so you just want to go ahead, get your tape rule and get the midpoint of this crotch line that we have here. So after getting the midpoint, you mark it and go in by 1/4 inches and just use that as a guide while trying to curve. So this is how you're going to go about for this crotch line. So after this now, we just want to go in from the hem, come in here by 1 inches and go ahead to connect to your crotch line. After connecting this part to our crotch line, so the next thing we want to do is from our front midpoint, we want to come down by 1/2 inches, and the reason why we're doing this is so that our short can sit very well on our waist. So after marking that out, you just want to go ahead and connect that to your waist with my pattern ruler. So this is what I'm just going to do now, and at this point we are done with the front part, and we just want to go ahead, proceed to cut out. And after cutting out, we want to use our front to also cut out our back. So I just want to go ahead now to proceed and cut out before moving to the back. So now I'm done with the front and I've gone ahead to place my front fabric on the back, and the fabric we have on the for the back is actually more than the front, and the reason is because our back is going to be wider than our front. So moving on to the crotch part, I first want to go ahead to extend my crotch line on the back to the back piece that we have for our back. And then for our crotch, back crotch, you will want to go ahead to divide your hip round by 10, and whatever you have, you want to go ahead to mark it out. And I'll say don't do not also forget, you might also want to go ahead to add about 1 inches or half inches, and the reason for this so that it can be free and also for hem allowance. So I did a mistake here, so I will just want to go to my pattern paper and explain how to go perfectly well for these parts. So right now, this is my front, which I have on the back fabric, which I've gone ahead to draft out on my pattern paper. And I want to go ahead to mark out 2 inches up there, and I also mark out 2 inches round, just as you see me do. So the back is supposed to be wider than the front by 2 inches. And also this crotch part, do not forget what I said, you are dividing your hip round by 10, and whatever you have, you're going to mark it out. So after marking these 2 inches round and 2 inches or a way up, you also want to use your pattern ruler to connect it. So for the top part, you might not want to do 2 inches, you might just want to go ahead to do 1.5, and you just want to go ahead to connect to all these lines together just like this. And after this now, so I just want to go ahead to come down on this other part, ensure what I have is correct, and also come down and mark out my 2 inches round. So I will want to go ahead coming down, mark my 2 inches down to the hemline, and after marking 2 inches down to the hemline, and ensure what I have is 2 inches round, I'll just want to also go ahead and connect to my crotch, and this is relatively what we're going to be having for the back. And after that, we just want to go ahead to cut out. So just go ahead to follow the same process that I did here on your fabric, and this is the perfect way to go about for the back. So moving on from here, we'll be moving on to the pocket part of this. And then for this pocket, I have my piece already cut out, and I'll be explaining how we'll go about it. So for the piece, for my length, I have 11 inches, and then for the width, I have 16 inches. So you just want to go ahead to cut it out for the two pockets. So for me, I'll just be moving on with I'll be going with just one pocket, but I'll be explaining how to go about this now. So right now, we just want to go out and mark out 2 inches from here and come down by 7 inches. And also from these 7 inches, because we're not sew on exactly 7 inches, we want to go ahead to come up by half inches. And on this 2 inches part, we also want to go ahead to come down by half inches and go ahead to place your pocket piece just like this. So placing it like this, I'll just want to go ahead to turn over and go ahead to remark what we marked earlier, the 2 inches and the 7 inches. I'll go ahead to mark it on this part since we'll be sewing from here. So after marking what we have out, and I want to use my pattern ruler to connect the line, and after which now I'll just go to my sewing machine. This line which I marked out, don't forget the half inches which I said we should mark out. So just go ahead to mark out the half inches, and we're going to be sewing away from the half inches. So you just go ahead to your sewing machine and sew. So which I've gone ahead, I'll go ahead to do it. So I've done mine now, and you just want to go ahead first of all to go ahead to trim out the excesses you have here. And after trimming these excesses, you want to go ahead to turn over. So remember, we started from away from half inches on both sides, so I want to open it up just as you see me do here. So after now, I'll just want to go ahead to place this pocket how it should be. So that's what I'll be doing next. So I'll just want to first trim out these excesses that I have here and turn my pocket. So just go ahead to turn out your pocket just like this, that as you've seen me do. And next thing we want to go ahead to do now is to top stitch. So I'll come ahead, want to go ahead to open the half inches that I left at that top part, and want to go ahead to top stitch for just the up part and top stitch for the down part. So I'll be showing you the part which you top stitch. That up part is which, and this small part here, you go to your sewing machine and go ahead to top stitch. But before then, you want to use your office pin to hold it so that your pocket don't shake and so that it can be able to lay flat when you are done top stitching. So before you use your office pin to hold it, and just ensure that your pocket lays very flat. And you also want to go ahead to press the pocket, and also the part that you turned over, you want to go ahead to press that part so that it can lay well. So I'll go to my sewing machine now to do that. So right now I'm done sewing, just as you see me do. And next thing, I'll just want to loose out my office pin and go ahead to sew this part by half inches, just as you see me. And after sewing that part by half inches, you want to go ahead to serge, and that is what we are going to do for the pocket. So you just want to go ahead, repeat the same process for the second side of the trouser. But for me, I'll just be fixing my pocket on just one part. So the next thing for the other part, you just want to go ahead, place it on each other like that, and sew on the crotch line by half inches. And this is for my back. Also go ahead, place it on it like this, and go ahead to sew by half inches. So I'll go to my sewing machine now and do that. So right here, I'm done with that. And next thing, we want to go ahead to join both the front and the back together. So to do that, we'll go ahead, place it like this. And first of all, ensure the lay, start from the midpoint of this crotch part. Go ahead, sew by half inches round here, and also go ahead, sew by half inches, and also come also to the side, place it, ensure it aligns well, and go ahead to sew by half inches on this side, and also repeat the same process for this other part. Go ahead to sew by half inches. So I'll be going to my sewing machine to do that. So right here, I'm done doing that, and the next thing we want to do now is to go ahead to press, and after pressing, go to our waistband. So for the waist, you first want to go ahead to measure your waist round, and whatever we have, we'll be working with that for our waistband. So the next thing I've gone ahead to now to do is to go ahead to cut out to my fabric exact measurement I had for the waist round, but I added half inches for the joining allowance so that I could be able to join for both sides. And then for the elastic, I used my exact waist measurement to cut out my elastic, and I also went ahead to join the elastic together. The next thing you want to do now is to sew your elastic to your fabric, but before doing that, you want to use your office pin to hold it down. And at this point, your office pin is going to come handy. So you just want to go ahead, turn your elastic perfectly well, and place it in the fabric just like this, and use your office pin to hold it down before going to your sewing machine to sew it. So when you're going ahead to place it round, you just notice that it will keep stretching, and the elastic effect will start showing. What you just want to do is to go ahead to stretch it and ensure it fits inside, and use your office pin to hold it. Then the next thing you just want to go to do, this part which we are using to hold it down, so go to your sewing machine and sew it in. So I had an issue because this fabric started pulling out, and I had just half inches there. Well, that is not the story for now. So just go ahead, do just as I say like this now. Go to your sewing machine to sew it down, and the next part we want to do now is to go ahead and sew on the elastic after this part. So I already got started sewing on the elastic, but you just want to go ahead to place it just as you see me do, and stretch it while sewing. So in case this part might be a bit confusing, I have a detailed video where I explain how to sew an elastic waistband. I'll be dropping it in the description box, and also I'll drop it in the comment section so that you could also go to it to understand how to sew your elastic well. But then you just want to go ahead, place it, sew on it like this, and go ahead to drag it while trying to sew. So right here, I'm done with that, and my machine was giving me issue while sewing the elastic, and the fabric was pulling out, but then it's all fine. So the midpoint where we sewed together, you just want to go ahead to get that part and use your razor blade to cut that part out, and that is where we're going to use to pass our rope round. So I'm going to go ahead, get that part, open it just like this, and pass my rope round. And at this point, we are done with the elastic, and next thing you just want to do now is to sew to your trouser. So for this elastic, I really did not give a detailed explanation for this waistband, but I'll just do well to drop the drop the link to the video where I explained perfectly well how to go about your elastic. So after now, you just want to go ahead to place your rope inside just like this, round, and then I'll say we are done for this short, and the next thing you want to do now is to sew to your short. So if you stayed to this point of this video, I'll say thank you for watching, and also please do not forget to also like, subscribe, and drop a beautiful comment. And for the elastic part, also do not forget to check out for the video on how to go well, on how to sew your elastic well. So this is what I have after sewing my elastic, and I'm just gonna head to sew to fabric, and this is I sew to my short, and this is what I have. So thank you for watching.